Hello, welcome to session number 6 in the series Programming Languages. My name is Anurag Nigam, and we are going to continue our discussion on types, right? So we have discussed 3 types till now: structure, enumeration, class. Then there are 2 more types to be discussed, which are delegates and interfaces. Now here, to strengthen our concepts, let's look at some more type declarations. Also, let's look at arrays. So first of all, let's create a project, a console project. Okay, and say next. Okay, let's name this as lesson 6A. Okay, and go next. And again, do not use top level statements. Say create. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to create a structure and a class, and both will be alike, almost alike. And then we will see when you pass a structure to a method, or when you pass a object of a class to a method, how they are passed and how they are different, right? Also, we will see array, various ways to declare an array and how to handle arrays. You'll see that. And thirdly, we are going to see strings, right, and various methods which are available with this class called string. Okay, seems to take a lot of time. Okay, so as usual, we have a static main, and we are going to use now all these types are at the same level, so we can use them, we can declare them inside the namespace. So let's do a structure and call this as my shirt. Okay, and this structure stores 2 informations. First is a color of the shirt, and second is the size of the shirt. So let's declare an enumeration, okay, call my colors. And what are the various values I'm going to use? Red, blue, green, and orange, right? So we have enumeration: red, blue, green, orange, correct? And we are going to use those here. So first of all, I'm going to say I have a public, okay, shirt color. It is of type my colors, right? So my colors, okay, my colors, and this is called shrtcolor. Okay, so this is one member of the structure. Other member is a integer, and I'll call this as size, and that's it. Now I am going to likewise I'm going to create a class. So I'm going to create a class called your shirt, so as to know the difference between a structure and a class, right? So this is called your shirt and this is called my shirt. So one of them is a structure, other one is a class, correct? Now this one would have a constructor, public, and your shirt, and this is going to receive my colors and shirt color int size. Okay, and this is how the constructor is done. And then I will do a empty constructor for this, public your shirt. Okay, this is an empty constructor which is almost the same. I can just say this dot. So let's give this a default color of red. Okay, right, and let's give this a size of 99 centimeters. Okay, so one constructor, sorry, this should be size. So one constructor is receiving the color and the size and assigning it to the data field here of this object, right? Other one is a empty constructor. It gives a default size and a color, right? Similarly over here we will do two constructors. Okay, public, and this is called my shirt. Okay, and this is going to receive my colors and shirt color, right, and int size. Right, and this has to be mandatory defined, and the size has to be mandatory defined because this is a structure, this is a value type, and it is created, it is allocated memory location. So this would be size, and there is a little mistake here. This will be called this dot size. Okay, so this one is a constructor for the structure, and similarly there is a blank constructor. Okay, so there is a blank constructor, and this dot size equal to 0, and then this dot shirt color, I have to assign it, so my colors red, default value. Okay, so now we have got a structure and we have got a class. Okay, my shirt and your shirt. Now here we are going to do two instantiations. One is for the structure, and then I will call the structure as my shirt, and this one will be called favorite shirt. Okay, so I'll call this my favorite shirt. My favorite shirt equal to new, and here I am going to give one of the two constructors here. Hang on a second. Okay, the second one here, right? So I will call this one as my colors and give it a my colors dot red. Okay, I do just that, right? And then I'm going to give it a size. So this is a structure. Now similarly I will do an object of a class. So I'll do a your shirt, your favorite shirt equal to new your shirt, and then I will have to give it my colors dot red, and size is 95 centimeters. Okay, so now I have instantiated a structure, and I have instantiated an object of a class. Right, now let's print the values. Okay, okay, so now I will do one more thing. I will say I want to create a static function here, public static, which returns a my shirt type, and then it says modify. So it is going to modify the color of the shirt, for example, and it is going to again receive my color. It is going to receive the my shirt, okay, and let's say shrt. So whatever the shirt it is passed, it is going to modify the the color of the shirt. So I'll say shirt color, and let's make this one as green now, or rather whatever is the passed on shirt. So I'm passing an object, right? And I'm modifying its color, okay, and I'm going to make this one as green. Okay, so as soon as you pass the object of the class, so it is passed by reference, and whenever I make change here of the color, it changes the original copy. So that's what I am trying to show here. Return shirt. Okay, so this is what is being done. Okay, so this is, sorry, this is a structure. So now this is by value. So the shirt is passed on as a local copy, and the local copy, the color is changed to green, and then the local copy is returned. So the original copy is red, it remains red. So that's what I'm trying to do. Now here I can copy the same thing inside your shirt. Okay, so I'm going to do same thing inside your shirt. It is going to return your shirt, okay, and it is going to receive your shirt. So this is going to pass by reference. So whenever I change the shirt of the color, the original color gets changed. Okay, so you understood that I'm trying to see pass by value and pass by reference. What's the difference? Okay, so now here I'm going to do a console dot write line, and I am going to print here dollar, okay, original color of my shirt is this, and here I am going to put here the original color, which is my favorite shirt dot shirt color, correct? And similarly I will do a console dot write line dollar function, and inside this original color of your shirt is this, which is going to be your favorite shirt, right? Your favorite shirt dot shirt color, correct? So now this will both will print red. Okay, so if I build solution, and if I go to debug this, so if I go to debug this, so it is printed original color of my shirt is red, original color of your shirt is red. So both the color shirts are red colored, but one of them is a structure, other one is a object, right? So let's say if I call that function, okay, so the function is a static function, so it is a class member, so I can call it from my shirt dot modify. So but it is going to return me a type which is my shirt, correct? My shirt, say my modified shirt, okay, is equal to, and I'm going to call that function dot modify and I'm passing my favorite shirt to that. So whatever is the modified shirt, it is received over here, right? And I'm going to again print the original color, right? So now let's do the other one also. Your shirt, your modified shirt equal to your shirt dot modify your favorite shirt. Okay, so now I have got two more objects, one for the structure, other for the class, which I have got returned from the function call, and to that I have passed my original color. So now once the function has been called, let's repeat this. Okay, Control C and say here original color of my shirt is this and original color of your shirt is this, right? So what do you expect? You expect that for the structure, the original one is not going to change in color, but for the class, the original one is going to change to green. So let's build solution, and let's say debug it. So what do you have? Original color of my shirt is red, original color of your shirt is red, original color of my shirt is red again, original color of your shirt is now green. So now this is the object, so this is passed by reference. So the original original copy which is being passed to the method is altered to green, right? And what you receive back, okay, so what you receive back again, let's write that here, console dot write line, console dot write line, and here I am going to print modified shirt, right? So here I am going to say modified color of my shirt is, and this is the object of the structure which is received, which is called my modified red shirt, my modified red shirt dot shirt color, correct? And similarly I will write down console dot write line, okay, and then here I would say modified color of, sorry about that, typing mistake, of your shirt. So this is a modified this one is going to be a same copy which has been modified and returned. Shirt is your modified shirt dot shirt color, correct? So the original one is green now, and the return shirt is also the same, which is green. So there is no difference between your modified shirt and your favorite shirt, because they are pointing to the same object, while here my favorite shirt is pointing to a different object of the structure as my modified shirt, right? So in this case a new copy has been created which has been modified if it is a structure. So I'll just say build solution, go to start without debugging, say modify color of the shirt is green and modified color of your shirt is green, right? So here this one is a different copy from this one, so these two are the same, right? And this one is a different copy, while in the second case this one is same as this one is same as this one, because they are passed by reference, returned by reference, so they are pointing to the same object of a class, while the structure there is a second copy which has been created. So you have got a red shirt, red my shirt, and my modified shirt is green, while you have got a red your shirt and your modified shirt is green, so there are two copies of it. Okay, sorry, in this case, for a class there are single copies. So basically there's only one shard in case of a class, and there are two shards in case of a structure after function is being called. Okay, so this clarifies what is passing by value and what is passing by reference, right? So this all I wanted to show you, and I can also use this as a part of a in a switch statement. So I can say switch, and I can say here I have to declare a type, right? So I will say my colors SWT. Okay, that's a switch equal to my colors dot blue. Okay, and this one I can use inside a switch statement because the base type is still a integer, right? So in this case the base type is integer. So I can say case red, then I can say, sorry, oh, okay, doesn't matter, it wants to write the entire thing. Then I can say console dot write line, okay, ball is red. Has that very simple statement, and then I have to do a break. Okay, similarly, in case the ball is blue, so which is the true case, in this case this is going to be the one which is going to be fired, and say my color red, blue, green, right? My colors, let's put here blue. Okay, I can say here ball is blue. Okay, and just do a break statement. And similarly I can do another case here. So let's copy these two and paste it. Control C, Control V, and in this case you cannot repeat them. That's what it is giving error. Red, blue, green, and then I can say ball is green, and then there is red, blue, green, orange. Okay, now default in this case is not required because you have covered all the cases for SWT. That's why default is not required, so it should compile without a problem. Okay, and it should also run and print that the ball is blue. So where it got stuck? Oh, okay, ball is blue. Okay, so if all the cases are covered in switch, then the default is not required, but still we will put a default case. Default console.write line, and say you did not select a ball, which will never come because the switch will never take any value other outside the enumeration, and then hit a break. Okay, so we have used enumeration inside a switch statement. Okay, so now here we have covered structure, enumeration in class. Now let's look at, so let's just save it and close it, and close the solution. We'll make a new solution. We are going to explore arrays, right? So let's go here and make a new project, and this one we'll call lesson 6b. Lesson 6b, and next, and say create, and we have a very simple creation here. So we are going to show you, I'm going to show you just, sorry about that. Okay, I'm just going to show you how to do the integer. Now if I was to declare integer inside the class, that has to be static to be consumed by this Okay, so it has to be a static because it has to be consumed by a static method, right? So I can say integer, and to declare an array I have to put it like this and say a, and I can assign it as soon as I create it. I can say 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay, so this is a 3-membered array. Okay, so here I can print it, right? So I can say for each. Now I can use for each because it implements an interface called enumeration, which we'll see later on. That's why we are able to use for each, and I can say here integer r in a, integer r in a. We'll say console dot write line r. Sorry about that. Right? Okay, so this is going to write, or rather I would just do write here, and here I will do a console dot write line, and I'm going to say contents of a, correct? Contents, sorry, contents of a. Okay, so this is going to write the contents of a. Build solution and say debug, start without debug. So the contents of a is 1 2 3. Now I want a gap in between, so I can format this string. Okay, make it a dollar here, and keep r inside the braces and create a space, and like this, so it will create a space. So build solution, debug, start without debug. So I see this content of a is 1 2 3, correct? Now I am going to create a method which is going to change the contents of a, right? And I wanted to see whether it is passed by reference or whether it is passed by value. Okay, so the same thing which we did with the structure and class, same we are going to do here. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to declare a static method because it has to be consumed by static, another called from another static method. So static, and it is going to return me an integer array, and this I will call as modify, and it is going to square each element. How's that? So it is going to again receive this thing, and then it is going to square each element, right? So I'm passing on a, and like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just run a for each again. For each int, no, I can't run a for each. Okay, so let's run a for statement. So this is a single dimensional array or a vector, so I can say for int I equal to 0, I less than a dot length, and I plus plus, and here I am going to say a dot I, and I'm going to say with a dot I, ai. So this is same as squaring, right? And once I have squared it, I'm going to say return a, right? So what I have done, I have taken whatever is passed to this method, it is the elements are squared, and then the array is returned. So I'm going to check whether it is returned by reference or passed by reference and returned by reference, or is it that it is by value. Okay, so here we have already displayed. Now what we are going to do is we are going to call this method, right? So I am going to say another integer int array b is equal to, and I am going to call that method which is modify, and to this modify I'm going to pass a, and that's it. Okay, after this I'm going to write back a and b. Okay, control C, control V, Okay, so contents of A I'm going to write again, right? So this is contents of A. So after calling the method, I want to see whether the original copy got changed. Okay, so I'm writing back the contents of A, and then I'm going to write the contents of B. Okay, so that will be the modified copy. Control C. Okay, now I'm going to write contents of B, and here I'm going to just copy for each and modify it to be B. Okay, so I'm writing the contents of B here. First the contents of A and then the contents of B. So I'm going to check whether the original copy got changed. So I'll say build solution and say debug, start without debug. So what do you see? You see that the original contents of A were 1, 2, 3. Then after calling the function, the contents of A got changed to 149, which is a square of 123, right? 149. And then the contents of B is also 149, right? That means it is passed by reference. Both before or after are referring to the same array, right? So arrays are passed by reference, but are they by value, in the sense, are they created when you create them, are they assigned a value of 0? So let's check that. So let's create here. Okay, not by here, let's just create inside for loop. So I'm going to say I want to create an array. Now let's call this as a C is equal to new integer array of size, let's say a dot length is the same size. Okay, and now let's print what's inside C. Control C. If it gives a null, that means that it is purely by reference, right? When it is generated, it is the pointer. So let's see. Or if it is assigned a value of 0. Okay, so we are going to check this in C. Okay, so in C element, where we haven't initialized the array, we are just printing out the values contained. If it is 0, that means that they are created by value, right? But then they are passed by reference. So that's the basic difference. So let's just build this solution. If we get a null error, we don't. Okay, let's do the console.write line here, contents of C. Okay, Control C, and before printing it, let's insert this line, content of C. Okay, let's build this and debug this. Okay, so we see that we initialize C, we didn't give any value, they were assigned a value of 0. Okay, so this is like a creation which is like in case of a static, right? As soon as something is created, it is giving a value, but then it is passed by reference only, right? So that's what I wanted to prove. So we know how the arrays behave. Now we will see what are the different ways we can define an array. So we can also do a static int, and then we can do it, let's say, a two-dimensional array. Okay, so this one, so we already have got B and C, let's do a D. Okay, and this one basically is, let's say, 3 by 3 matrix. So let's do 3 of these. Okay, and then we have this, right? And here I can do 1, 2, 3, and here I can do 4, 5, 6, and here I can do 7, 8, 9. 7, 9. Okay, so now this is being assigned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now how does the enumerable behave? Like, can I just print it out? Okay, so notice notice that these are static, and that's why I'm able to give this values. Okay, because they are created when the class is created. If it was not so, there will be a issue. Huh? There's no issue. Okay, still, because that means, how would it behave in case of an object? This is kind of strange. We can initialize it, but we cannot assign it. Does it mean that? Okay, so let's do another thing. Static int and e. Let's create an empty one. E is equal to new int, and then I'm going to give it 3 comma 3. So this is how a two-dimensional array which is empty, which is assigned. But then they are given a value of 0 here. You cannot assign anything here because this is inside a class. You cannot put a statement inside a class, right? So if you try to do something like e and then say 3 comma 3, or rather 1 comma 0 comma 0, it will not allow you to do that, because the statement cannot be written inside a class, right? You cannot call this element as 0. Now, because you cannot do a statement inside a class. You can do assignment because this is a static, so assignment is possible, right? But you cannot do this. Even if it was not static, the integers were created like static, so you could have given the initial values, and if you don't give the initial values, they are taken as zeros here. Okay, so now let's see how I populate this. Okay, can I just populate it this way? I can say for each int r in e. Okay, and no, this will not work that way. So I can do for int I equal to 0, I less than length of e, and I plus plus. So this looks like a vector, isn't it? This looks like a single dimensional array, right? While here it is a two-dimensional array. So when the array is a uniform array, which is not an array of arrays, it is always stored like a vector inside. So you will be able to do this, right? So let's say I can say e. How would I split? Can I just say ei? No, this will not work. Because the indexing will not take place that way. So in that case, I would have to put here less than 3, and I have to put here for in j less than 3. It's a two-dimensional array, and the assignment goes like I comma j is equal to okay, so I just want to have a regular numbers, right? Okay, int k equal to 0, and I can go here and say plus plus k. What does it say? E is not a null. Wrong indices. Oh, sorry. Okay, now it's okay. So this is a two-dimensional array, right? So this is assignment. While when you are going to print it, the contents of E, okay, so I'm going to print the contents of E here. I can just treat it as one contiguous, so I can use a for each here. For each int I in E. Okay, I'll do a console.write line, console.write, console.write, and I'm going to write here dollar and a string, and inside the string I'm going to put in the R and create a space here and another story. Okay, so this is going to print whatever we have put in E. Okay, while assignment, due to indexing, I had to break up the index into I and J, but while reading it, it is just a contiguous memory, and I enumerable works just like a linear index on the two-dimensional or a multi-dimensional case. So this is going to work. Build solution, debug, start with that debugging. So you see here, the E is assigned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Okay, so this is how we do a two-dimensional array or a three-dimensional or a multi-dimensional array. What about if I want to do an array of arrays? So in that way, it will allow me to do staggered arrays. So I can say static int, and this is an array of array, and this is f is equal to new integer, and only the first one I have to specify. The second one I can specify in the other definition. What is the other definition going to be? Other definition I can do here, or I can do internally. Can I do here? Let's say I don't have to do this. I have to just say f and f0 is equal to, let's see if it allows me to do that, new integer array of size 3, which is initialized a certain value. It will not let me do it here. So let's try to do this. It will not let me do this here. Okay, it doesn't. Because the element initialization, because this becomes a statement, right? So the statement cannot be put inside the class. It has to be inside the method, right? So let's do it inside the method here. Okay, so here there is no complaints. Similarly, I have got f1 equal to new int. Let's say this time it is only two elements, and the two elements are 4 and 5, correct? And the third one only has one element, let's say third row. So this is an array of array. You can also call it a staggered array. Let's say new int size only 1, create it a value of 6. How's that? Okay, so we have done a staggered array. Okay, now the next thing is I want to display this. Control C, Control V, contents of F, correct? And here I can use a for each, but I have to use a nested for each because this is an array of arrays. So I have to do for each. Here I have to put an array R in F. So this is that, right? Here I can do this. I can say console.write line, so this will just create this thing, a row change, and then I can just use a for each again, for each int. Now this time int will work because this is R2 in R, right? So that makes sense. And I can say here the same thing, console.write this thing, Control C, Control V, but here you have to change this to R2. Okay, so I'm writing each. So R refers to a array which is in F, which is array of arrays, and R2 refers to an integer in R, right? This is the inner loop, and I'm writing it. Check and save. Say build solution, and I'm going to say debug. Okay, so the contents of F are 1 2 3 4 5 6 as we entered here, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? So we know how to handle a multi-dimensional array and arrays of arrays. So that's an array of array, right? And we know how to handle the vector, and we know how the arrays are passed. So when the arrays are created, they are created just like static, right? And when they are passed just like a object of a class, that is by reference, not like a structure, right? Okay, so that means that whenever you assign one array equal to another one, what do you think happens? Does it make a copy of the integers? Okay, sorry about that. So let's okay, so we were looking at various ways of declaring the integer, and we came to a interesting point that when I assign one array to another one, as it is passed by reference, then I'm basically assigning the pointer. So basically, if I say b equal to a, somewhere here I could have done, let's say static int is b used, yeah, gh. Okay, so let's say now this will create a copy. Okay, let's see if I can do this. H is equal to a. Does it work? It does. So what is the content of h after I have called the modification, right? So let's just print the contents of h also, right? So contents of h. So we are clear that when we assign, are we making a deep copy? That is, are we copying element by element, or are we just copying the pointer to the array? Control C, Control V. Okay, so here h hash, if it is a deep copy, it should have stored 1 2 3, and it will show 1 2 3 here. Okay, so here contents of h, right? So after you have called, I'm checking on the contents of h, right? So let's just save it, build solution, and debug, start without debugging. Okay, the contents of h has also changed. So that means that whenever you do an assignment on an array like this, it is going to not do a deep copy. That means it is not going to create another array h which is a copy of a. It is just going to copy the address of a into address of h. So that is also something which you should know about class, right? So when you make two objects and copy it, basically you are copying the 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 pointer of the objects, and both objects are basically pointing to the same object in memory, right? But when you do it with a structure, then it is going to do a deep copy. That's what I suspect. Okay, so you understand by value and by reference what are the differences, right? Okay, so with this we have seen arrays. So let's look at strings. Okay, so let's just save this, and let's just create a new solution. Just close this solution and call this as lesson 6c. Okay, so let's call this as lesson 6c and say next, and I'm going to explore strings here. Okay, so here let's create a string. I call this as static. Do I have to do a static? I can do a string inside the main. So I'll call this as a string and call this as a name and then make a string. Okay, so I'm keeping some empty spaces, and that's my name, and that's it. And I can do a console.writeLine name. So I'm going to give a description here. Okay, so this is a formatted string and says the name string you entered is this. Correct. So let's just print this out. So I'm going to say build solution debug start with the debug. Okay, just says that the name string you entered is dash 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 Anurag dash Nigam dash 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 dash. Okay, now I'm going to see what methods are available for this class string, right? So I can just say string trimmed name, or just say trim name equal to name dot trim, right? Name dot trim, and to this I'm going to pass name. So this is a class method. Why is it? Oh, I don't have to do this. Sorry, it's already done, right? Okay, so this is the method which is going to trim the string and then write it again here. Okay, and here I have to put a trim name. Okay, so now what it has done is those spaces which are over here and the spaces over here, it gets rid of. So to just know, I'll put here one of this, right? So, and also over here I'll put this. How's that? Okay, so I'm going to say build solution debug start with that debug. So you see here it is dash 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 Anurag and the dash Nigam dash 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 dash, and then there's the end, and here it is trimmed, right? Okay, so we have seen that. Now I can also do a left trim or a trim at the start, right? So I can create a string and say trim left, so that will be a trim start. So I can just say name and say trim start. Okay, so this is done. Okay, and I'm going to do a console.writeLine on this one. Control C, Control V, and in this case I will call this as trim left. Okay, okay, so now it has done the trimming only on one side. So I can say build solution debug start without debug. So you notice here the trimming here is not done, only the trimming is done on the left. Okay, so this is one of the methods. Then the other method is trim right. So just copy this, and that will be called trim right, and in this case it will be called end, right? And this will be trim right, right? Fine, so it'll trim on the other side. Then build solution debugging start without debug. So notice in the fourth one the trimming has taken place on the right but not on the left. So trim start, trim end, and then trim. If you say trim, then the trimming takes place on both the sides. Now similarly, can I reverse this by padding? Okay, so padding is kind of slightly involved. String, let's say pad left, and let's pad. So I will take trim name, okay, and then I'm going to say pad left, and I'm going to give it an integer which is greater than 12. 12 is the total length of the string, so let's say 15, and let's say we pad it with a. How's that? So let's see if it does, because I'm doubtful. I've never used this method. Okay, so let's just print this. So I'm going to say the name string you entered is, let's say here, pad left. Okay, so let's see if it is padded with a. Say build solution, debug, start without debug. So you see here it has added, so 12 is the original size. Anurag Nigam is a 12, size of 12, and then I gave 15, so 3 A's are padded on the left. Okay, so now what about the right one? Okay, so now the value is 15 now, right? So let's make string pad right is equal to pad left dot pad right. Okay, and in this case now I have to do 15 plus 3, 18, and then do a, and just do this, and let's just do a right line on this. Control C. So now I have padded a on both sides. Right. So I have done it on both the sides. So if I do a build solution and debug, start without debugging. So we have 3 A's on the right and 3 A's on the left, right? Okay, so what are the other things I can do? I can find out the length of the name, right? So I can say int and say num, okay, num, or I can just say sz, size. Sz is equal to let's say the trim string, right? Trim name, correct, dot length. Okay, so I can just say console.writeLine dollar, and I can just say, sorry about that, just say dollar, and I can say number of letters in in this is this, and here I can put here the size, and here I can put here name. Okay, so here I can find out the length of the string just like the length of the array, right? Okay, start without debug. Okay, the number of letters in Anurag Nigam is 12, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12, right? So number of letters is 12. Okay, so having done that, let's say I want to insert a middle name, right? So I can say string full name is equal to trim name dot insert. Okay, insert, then I have to give a start index, so that start index will be the space between Anurag and Nigam, right? So I'll say trim name dot index of, and then here I'm going to say this is the index, find the index of this empty space, and here I'm going to start, and here I'm going to put here a string. Okay, so the string I'm going to put here is my middle name, ASHOK. Okay, so Anurag Ashok Nigam, right? So that will be the modified full name, right? And I can just say console.writeLine, console.writeLine, and I can just say here your full name is, and here I can put here inside this full name, right? So here I have inserted a piece of string inside the the name, right? So I have inserted the middle name here, say build solution, and just 1 second. Again, sorry for the interruption. So we were discussing this full name, right? So we have inserted a string, so just build solution and just start debugging. So it says your full name is Anurag Ashok Nigam. So there is a gap which should be over here. So let's see what happened over here. So it is starting at that, and there has to be a gap here. Right. So now build solution, debug, start without debugging, and there you have it. Your full name is Anurag Ashok Nigam. Okay, that's done. Now I can also split the string, right? So I can use any character to split the string, right? And then the return value is in the array of strings. So I can say string, and this is a array of string, and say I could say here nm. So this is going to store the two strings which I'm going to say. So it's going to be trim name dot split, and it says split at that character and return the two of them over here. So I can over here say console.writeLine, and here I can say your first name is, okay, so I'll just write it here, your first name is, and this is going to be your nm0, and then you can say and your last name is, again it is going to be nm1. Correct. So this is how the split will work. And let's say, okay, your first name is Anurag and your last name is Nigam. So it has taken the string Anurag Nigam and it has split it into two. So that's how the split works. Then you can change the case, right? So you can say, simply say console.writeLine. Sorry about this. Console.writeLine, and then just put a formatted string, so a dollar, and that, and here I can say your name in uppercase is, and here I can say trim name dot to upper. Okay, this is a function, so it has to be called like that. Okay, and then I can also do copy this, Control C, Control V, and here I can say your name in lowercase is to lower, right? So this is a uppercase, lowercase, so you can change the case also. The solution, debug, start without debugging. Okay, so your name in uppercase is this, your name in lowercase is this. So this is done. You can also remove any substring. Okay, so let's do that. You can say, I can just say control this, and then say your name, your name without space is, and here this is going to be slightly complicated. Okay, so I have got trim name dot remove. Okay, and in this case I have to give a start index, which is going to be again trim name dot index of index of, and I'm finding the index of the space, which is this. So this is going to return 6, and then how many characters do I want to remove? 1. So that will remove the space between the name, right? And just say build solution debug, start without debug. You see, it has removed the space between the two. So this string manipulation can be used in number of places. Usually when you handle addresses, like addresses like you can concatenate strings, and you can break strings at certain character and stuff like that. So that kind of manipulation can be done. So whenever I say string, you see that there are lots of methods which are available. Join is also a method where you can join, I think, two strings, right? You can compare two strings and stuff like that. You can go ahead and see all these details, what these are, right? So it will not be possible to cover everything in a video, right? And as the need arises, you can learn that too, right? You do not have to learn this everything at once. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here. So what did we discuss today? We discussed arrays, how they are passed, okay, how they are created, and then we also discussed how you use arrays. Then we have seen strings, and we have seen what are the various methods available to a string. And then we have also seen enumeration, which is used as in the switch statement because its base type is integer. Then we have also seen uh, how the structure is created, or a class object is created, and how is it passed, right? So we have seen the differences with the exercises. So I'm going to stop here, and the next thing which I wish to do is delegates or interface, okay, either of the two. And with the delegates, I want to, because most of the time delegates are used with events, so I want to look into event based programming, like when certain event takes place, right? What do you do now? Again, in case of graphics, like in Windows programming, there are two options we have. One is called uh, the form based. Okay, so the form based programming, where you do the GUI in the form of a form, right? Windows form, that is written in all procedural C#, right? So that's a old technology. Then WPF is basically following a different model. WPF wants to separate the front end, or the GUI, or the view, from the model, which is the back end, right? So it does a layer in between, okay, which is called view model. Okay, so on the top of the layer is the view, and the view is done using declarative language, like a XAML, right? So that separates out the code from the view, right? So XAML is used to do the view, and the view model, which is a layer in between the view and the model. There is a layer in between, it's called view model. That view model handles all the user interactions, right, and passes on all the calls, right, to the model, which is a business model or business logic, which is the model which is sitting underneath. So this becomes a three-layer solution: view, view model, and model. So we are going to see MVVM, okay, model view view model, kind of a pattern in WPF when we do the GUI. So we wish to learn both of them, and we wish to learn events. So for example, mostly the events are like when you click a button, or when you scroll down, when you do a list, do a drop down on a list, or when you scroll the sidebars, right? So these are all events. So basically, to learn it, probably you might do a little bit of form, and then learn the events, and then learn XAML, and then learn WPF, right? So this is the route which we are going to follow. So thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Let's see you in the next session.